All right. Hey, y'all. Hey. Welcome back. We're back. Sorry about that. Come on back in. Thank you for your patience. You got us, Yvette?
I'm trying to hit share. What am I supposed to do after that? Let's see if it went somewhere.
Okay, let me see.
You scroll down. There it is. But now why isn't it? Hit share again right here.
Hello.
Technology, yes. Hey, everybody. Happy Freedom Friday to you.
It is Friday. We are excited to be here in the Diva Den. We are super excited. Okay. And I'm on somebody else's phone that I don't understand the technology on, but we're going to get your share out there.
Let me see.
Okay.
Hold on, honey.
It was there. Mm-hmm.
Okay, here it is. She didn't think I had it.
Mama has learned. Yay.
Happy Friday. Come on in.
I'm just going to say, come on in, child. Okay, we ready?
Yep, we're ready. Let's do it.
All right. Hello. Happy Friday. Welcome to the Diva Den Show. I am so excited to be here. It is Friday. So welcome. You are officially welcome. There you go. And your battery is going to be dying, but I shared it out.
But we did what we could do, and that's what we did.
Yes. So that's all we're going to do.
That's what we did.
All right. So why are we here today? I guess you're wondering, what is Permission to Pause all about? Well, before we do that, why don't I just go ahead and take a minute and introduce myself, because just maybe you don't know who I am. My name is Rose Godlock, and I am your host of the Diva Den Show. Right here on Elev8 Radio, we come to you every Friday live at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So welcome. To my immediate right is my lovely producer / daughter, Maya Alexander.
Yay.
What up?
And to my left tonight is my very special guest, longtime sister girlfriend, Yvette Haley. Welcome to the Diva Den. So I want y'all to treat her real good. We are family here. We are just going to have a wonderful conversation about some wonderful and awesome and maybe a little touchy, subjects, but that's okay, because that's what we do in the Diva Den. Mm-hmm. This is an environment that we can just come in, we can share our hearts, we can share what the Lord has given us, we can share about past experiences or current experiences or future experiences,
That's good. That's real.
Yeah, so past, present, future. So we're going to invite you to be a part of the conversation and just join in. If you have questions or comments as we go along, please drop them in. And yes, we are asking you to share the live, share the love. So we've already prayed, and we are going to jump right on in there. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. I'm just going to give a big old shout out to everybody, because if I start calling out names, we're going to be at our 1 hour.
I got you.
Right.
All right. So, Yvette, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm Yvette Haley. I am a long-term friend of Rose Godlock, and we both went to the same church. That's where we met, at First Baptist Church of Glenarden. Been over there for now 22 years.
Wow.
Can't believe it. Yeah. 22 or 23. I am a therapist. I'm a licensed clinical professional counselor in the state of Maryland. I also do pastoral counseling at First Baptist, and I work at Life Christian Counseling Network and do Christian counseling there.
Awesome.
I'm a mom. I'm a wife of over 30 years. I'm a mom of 4 daughters.
Woo, 4. 1, 2, 3.
Girls.
Jesus, that's a show all by itself.
By itself. Yeah, the oldest is 37.
That's a note for the future.
Yeah, the oldest is 37. The youngest is 13. God has a sense of humor. Yeah.
13. God bless her soul.
Thank you. Keep praying for me. Pray for me.
Yes, my Lord. We are going to do that. So, just as a little recap, because tonight is really the culmination of our self-care topics from April. The month of April was all dedicated to self-care because we matter.
Amen.
You know, I want to make sure that the women and we know that there are men that are joining in too, and it's important for them to take care of themselves too. But because I'm a woman, I love all things, you know, woman related. I want to, for the most part, talk about how we are as women, things that we face, challenges that we have, and how we can help each other get through some rough patches, and just learn to enjoy life a little bit better. So April was self-care. May, we've been talking about motherhood, and we have covered a lot of different roles and stages of mothering and challenges, you know, associated with, up to and including, but not up to and including fertility challenges as well, infant loss. We've talked about all of that. And I found out that May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So I was like, wow, how can I bring all of this together? You know, what's going to bridge all of these things together? So that's why Yvette Haley is here, because she's going to help us do a recap of all of those things and what they each encompass on their own as well as together. So we're just going to start our chat out. So I would like to rewind a little bit to the self-care piece. Okay. And so why do you see self-care? No, let me go back. What is self-care to you? How would you define self-care, whether for you or just in general, or both?
Okay. Self-care is just generally that, taking care of yourself. I love the fact that you put permission to pause. It's making a conscious decision and being intentional about taking care of you. I know for myself, with raising my daughters, there were times where I was doing everything to get them out the door, to get them to school, to get them to practice, dance, ball, whatever they had, that sometimes I just washed up, threw on something, and kept it out the door. I didn't take enough time to take care of me because it was so important for me to make sure that they had their needs met and to make sure my husband had his needs met. And then I was working outside of the home, and then there was ministry as well. So doing all of those things, you lose yourself in the midst of that sometimes. And so taking self-care is taking a pause, taking the time to just say, hey, I matter. And if I don't take care of me, then all of these other things will fall by the wayside, or they won't be done as well. Because if I get sick, and that happened, I had a number of issues, sicknesses. I now have diabetes, unfortunately. But it was times that I just kept going, eating on the run, just doing all kinds of things so that I could get it done. But now I've made some conscious decisions and intentional decisions that I have to pause. I have to make decisions to take care of Yvette. She takes bubble baths when she wants. And yeah, there was a time where I took a bubble bath and the little kids' hands were still under the door, still mommy, right? They're bigger now, praise God for that. So for you to have small kids out there, I promise you it will get better. They will grow up, I promise.
Ta-da!
Yay!
But there was a time when those little fingertips of hers were under the door, and
and then the husband, well, honey, where is this? Where is that? I got to get this for the kids. I'm like, for real? So you can't even rest. But now I can do that. And I put on music. And now what I learned, secret, you lock the outside door to your bedroom and the bathroom door.
Hey.
That's what you do.
Did y'all catch that?
Outside door and inside the bathroom.
Out.
Yep.
Locked. Lock them out.
Yeah. So self-care is just being intentional about taking some time. I'm reminded of scripture in Matthew 11, verses 28 through 30. And Jesus says, his yoke is easy. His burdens are light. But we start feeling like, this is overwhelming. This doesn't feel light, and these children are a blessing from you, and they're supposed to make us feel good. Okay, well, I'm not feeling so good having to do all this stuff. But he didn't tell us to do all that stuff.
Right.
That was us.
Yeah,
and that's society. And society kind of leads. You got to pause. You got to take a break. You got to unplug from society and make decisions about how you're going to run your family, how you're going to run your life. That's what matters.
Yeah, because if not, you won't be here to manage all of that stuff that you felt like you were the only one that was able to manage it in the first place. And then when you're gone, it's a great possibility that you'll be replaced
Well, here's
in
the other
one
thing.
way or another.
They also learn how to do things for themselves. You'll be surprised what they can do.
How about that?
You'll be surprised how the men can start making dinner. What? Imagine that. They can do it. They may not do it like you. It may not get done the way you get it done.
I'm okay with that.
As long as they feed the children, as long as they can give them a bath, it's okay. And they're not babysitting their kids. When you need a break, go take your break. They're not babysitting, they're their kids.
Amen. Yeah. Say that again for the people in the back. The fathers are not babysitting
their own children. That's their kids. We're partnering. That's what we're doing.
Right.
Yeah. So sometimes it's on me, sometimes it's on him, sometimes it's on both of us. But no.
And when they get up some size, sometimes it's on them.
Right.
Yes.
They can learn how to put some macaroni and cheese in the microwave. They can learn how to do some stuff. They really can.
They can learn how to go in the refrigerator and get their cup of juice and open up their bowl of dry cereal because they may not like milk. So when they get to a certain age and you can leave them a note because they were an early reader, they can figure it out.
Very
because
good.
The note just might say, do not wake me up if it's not this time on the clock. Here is your cereal and your juices in the refrigerator.
Very good.
Have at it.
Yeah.
But that also comes with the warning that, the kid may call you one day and ask you how to make eggs.
This is true.
Because they're hungry.
This is true.
That's okay.
And you're not at home.
Yeah.
So you just got to put the disclaimer out there.
Yeah.
Okay.
That could happen too.
All right.
Yeah.
And you can instruct them. You can instruct them even over the phone.
That's right. Because I might just be somewhere sitting, pressing pause. And I'm not able to physically be there for whatever reason. Maybe because I just decided that I wanted to push pause. Now, this does not mean that you throw a temper tantrum and you're just going to storm out the house or lock yourself up in the room somewhere. That is not what we're talking about. No. I do not co-sign or I'm not in agreement with that type of behavior. So don't quote me saying Rose Godlock said I can just push pause because I don't want to be bothered with y'all anymore.
That is not the pause we're talking about.
Yeah, so let the record, is this on? Hello? Is the camera on? Don't make me come after you. That's not what we're saying.
No,
There's a way to push pause.
Yeah, you don't abdicate your responsibility. You have to take care of your responsibility. But when you're doing it and you're making some concessions and you're talking to your spouse, you're letting them know that, hey, I'm going to need a timeout. I need a break. There was a time period where I was homeschooling the kids for 5 years, the middle kids, the two middle ones, the 22 and the 20-year-old now. And then I had the baby. And so my baby, she was just extraordinary. I was trying to homeschool her, doing the little 2-year-old, 3-year-old workbooks. And I thought I was doing it. And I talked to my homeschool educator. And homeschool is bigger now than it was back then. But I am telling you that it was a big deal to do homeschooling then. But I got with a good network. You have to get with a good village. You got to get with a good set of people that will hold you accountable, make sure you're teaching these kids something. So don't just say you're homeschooling just so you can stay home and do nothing with your kids. That's a no-no.
That's so much that we're going to have to repeat tonight. I'm going to have to watch the replay myself to get these nuggets because I'm a witness.
Yeah.
Homeschooling was work because we went through it too. Yeah. And like you said, woo, Jesus.
Yeah. And those portfolio reviews, no joke, but they were worth it. But I remember my administrator for the homeschool, I was telling her, this little girl is doing so much. I'm trying to have this time that I can meet with I guess they were probably 6th grade and 4th grade or maybe 7th grade and 5th grade, and I was trying to get this in. I was seeing them and I was trying to put a match to which subject matter worked best for me to cover together with them. And this little girl would just be doing everything. And I would be like, how am I going to get this done? And I'm trying to do this. So she said, oh, Yvette, we have a wonderful system. What you do is you get these workbooks and then you get this reward system. So you have like a bucket of toys that she gets to play with when she finishes the workbook pages. I was like, yeah, genius, right? So I went and I bought all these workbooks. And I bought this bucket of toys, and this is your reward bin. And I thought it would take her an hour, to finich like 3 pages.
Bless your heart.
Yeah, no, she would go past the pages. She'd get everything done. And then she was like, Mommy, look. And I was horrified, like, now what am I going to do? Lord, help us. I understand that. Amazing. You're like, okay. And so I went back to the administrator. I said, that's not working. It's just not working. So then I got more and more stuff. But what I learned I had to do is I had to give myself a break. And it was okay. And I didn't have to have it done in some stringent platform. I just had to get it done. I had to get some stuff done, and I had to incorporate her in what I was doing. So when you're raising children, you just got to learn how to maneuver into what works best for you.
Right.
But in this time of homeschooling, when I was getting all of that done, I was having no care for me. And when my husband would get home from work, sometimes I'll be like, time for my lunch hour.
Right.
She's out. She needs the lunch hour. And at first it was like really bad. And then he said, okay, honey, can you let me get in the door first? Can I just get in the door? I said, mm-hmm.
Not just like he's coming in and you're going out. Like, the kid's in here somewhere, I'm out.
I'm gone. But I would give him like 15 to 20 minutes, go take off his clothes, decompress, say hello to kids, say hello to me. I tell him what was available. And then I say, all right, mommy, see y'all later. And I didn't do it every day, but I did do it at least once or twice a week. So I could get a break.
Absolutely. And if you're in that situation now, if that's your season that you're in, even if you're not, homeschooling or home full time, whatever your situation is, have a conversation so that you can express your heart. And we need to do some preventive, maintenance. We talked about that before. Don't wait until you're on the ledge.
Yes.
Let's put some things in place, and we're going to get to some of those things tonight that can help you along your journey. And that goes for even if you're not a mom, even if you're not married, even if, it's just you. You still have to decompress. You still have to push pause. You still have to be okay with that. You have to learn how to say no. Everybody out there, say it with me. I'm listening. No. Look, I'm still breathing. Ma'am.
No. I say no a lot.
That wasn't convincing.
I do say no a lot.
But I struggled with saying no because of my temperament and, spiritual gifts and all of that. It's just in me to help people and to want to see other people freed up to do what they need to do. So I can do that. Sure, I can. Sure, I will. Now, I've already said sure I can like 82 other times. But in the moment, you're not thinking about all of that. But what was happening was I'm burning out.
Yeah.
And it's like the battery was going down, like, slowly. So I'm not the Energizer Bunny.
Right.
None of us are. Right. And so my battery was burned out, and I'm cranky and cantankerous and, not very nice to be around. And so the Lord had to show me through some, situations that it's okay to say no. Absolutely. And I'm okay with it now.
Absolutely. You have to practice it however you can. No.
In the mirror.
No. Not today. Do whatever you need to do for you to learn how to take a pause and take a step back. I learned to say it this way, and I had to teach myself this. Every good thing is not a God thing. Every good thing is not a God thing. It can look like a good thing. It could look like it has potential and power to be something great or to do something great. But you got to ask, am I supposed to be doing that?
Exactly.
Am I supposed to be doing that during this season?
Right.
When you have 3 and 4 kids, or if you have other responsibilities, whether it's at work or whatever, you're in school. I'm back in school now. That's a whole nother story.
Bless your heart, yes.
Oh, praise the Lord. But, you have all these things going on. You can't do all of that. And so you have to learn how to take that step back. And your no doesn't mean that you don't like people, that you don't want to do anything for people. It means that in order for me to do some things, I have to say no to some other things.
Right, because you can stretch yourself thin very quickly. You don't even see it happening sometime, and then you just get there. And it's like, how did I even get here to where I don't even know if I'm coming or going?
Yes.
I don't know up from down, right from wrong. I feel like I'm, not in my right mind. I feel like I'm on that hamster wheel and I don't know how to get off.
Spinning and you're getting angry because you're on it. But the truth is, you put yourself on it by agreeing to so many things, right? And you think, well, I'm doing a good thing. I'm trying to help out. But here's the thing. Also, people don't always see, even once they see that you're burning out. That's the thing. That's why I love your topic, permission to pause, because people can see that you're burning out and they'll tell you, oh, girl, you're doing too much. You need to stop. Now, can you come over here on Saturday and do X, Y, Z? I called you on Wednesday and you're thinking, you just told me that I need to, but not for you.
Right.
Yeah. And so you'll find yourself completely burned out and in the bed. And I've been there too, Rose. Been in the bed, can't move. I remember a situation I was trying to help somebody. And I used to love to help people with weddings, because when I got married, we had a wedding coordinator. It didn't go so well. And I didn't know, no one in my family had an official wedding before. And so we didn't know. And we were just going, and I was going with everything she was telling me to do. I wore these big, hideous, I had the girls wear these big, hideous bows. They still pick at me today for that 30 years later. They're like, Yvette, you had us wear those bows. They were this big, y'all. They stuck out the side of their head. But, and I was like, why did I do that? Because I'm listening to what someone else said, and I thought they knew better than me. Well, so after that, I decided I was going to help anybody who was getting married and was struggling, right?
Okay.
And so I did that, started helping people. Well, this one particular wedding, all we were supposed to do was set up the reception site, my girlfriend and I.
Simple enough.
Simple. Shouldn't be that hard. I had the girl tell me what she wanted. She told me, I saw the vision. We planned it. Except that when we got there that day, the people who had done the catering dropped their food off and they left.
That was in like stereo.
Already know where that's
right.
going.
You know, right?
You know.
I mean, we were working like Hebrew slaves. We were flat out working like Hebrew slaves. When I got home, I could barely get out of my van, and I was walking up my walkway so gingerly because my back was killing me. And my neighbor said, girl, what's wrong with you? And I said, oh, I just finished this wedding and I'm just hurting because we had to do all this stuff. And she asked me this question. She said, did you ask God? Yeah.
Ooh, was that for me?
Well, I thought I did. You heard from him? That would be a no.
See, what had happened was...
Yeah. So I learned a very valuable lesson. It was a painful lesson, but it was a lesson nevertheless. I try to line up things now, if they're lining up with the agenda where we're supposed to be going, and I try to ask God everything. I don't say I'm perfect at it, because sometimes I still mess up.
Right.
But when I find myself in a situation where things are really, really, really hard, then that means it might have been a good thing, but it wasn't a God thing for me in that moment.
That's true. That's true. I can understand that. So is it anything that you have burning for our guest tonight?
Okay.
All righty then. So, again, we are giving ourselves permission to pause because we lead very busy lives. And I guarantee you, everyone that's joining in tonight, including us, everybody's, plate looks different. But I guarantee you there's probably too much stuff on most of those plates.
Excellent. Can we stop right there for a minute, Rose?
Sure.
So here's an exercise for you. Get a paper plate. Get the cheap ones. You can write on those better, right?
Did we talk about that?
Oh, you did talk about that?
Go ahead. Because we might have a whole new audience. I just love that, though. Get
a paper plate and write out all the things that you do and all the different roles that you play and all the times that you have to be somewhere. Write it all out. Just put it all on the plate. And then take a real good look at that plate and see where you can start making some decisions. Must I do this? And then start Xing off the ones that you don't have to do.
Yep.
You might delegate them to someone else. They may just go away altogether. You may have to say that this is for this season. I can't do that. I remember a time I loved to sing. I'm not a soloist or anything, but I love to sing with groups. And so I remember a time that I had to walk away from praise and worship, one of the hardest things I ever had to do, because I love praise and worship. And it took me a long time, and I haven't gone back. And and it was when my 13-year-old was little. So one of the praise and worship lady saw me one day recently, and she said, "Is the baby still growing up?" I said, "Yep, she sure is." And but she still has activities, and she has other things. I'm back in school now, so I can't add that.
You might be the baby, you know, sometime that's still growing up. You're back in school, so that's a whole.
You got to tend to that. You got to tend to what you have to tend to, and it's okay. And don't have false guilt, because people can give you false guilt, and you can start feeling like, well, shouldn't I? Well, I really don't have that. I really do have this. The question is, if you do that, do you still have time to do the 1, the 2, the 3 other things that you're required to do?
Right. Absolutely.
I think that is so important, because I think that I'm in a season in my life where it's all about my family. We're a young family. We're just getting started. We're just getting into our groove. And I'm also a young career woman. And so I'm just getting into my groove with that. And so I had to realize that a lot of other things that are still important are not as important as keeping that family core unit intact. And you have social media is such a pressure, but you have mom guilt and you have family guilt and you have work guilt. And it's just, you get stretched in so many different directions, and then you look and you're like, with my family is the most important thing. All of this other stuff falls to the wayside, because if I get promoted 17 times in my job, but my husband left me 5 years ago, what is that about?
Or your child hasn't seen you, and they don't even know, and all they're stuck with is their video game.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's not going to matter.
That's not what I want for my family. So I had to take that priority, and that's one of the things that I try to communicate to people that are younger than me, because they're like, oh, you know, you got married so young, and it's like, it's not for everybody. But if you do make that decision, you have to make those kinds of choices at the beginning, because how you start out is what sets the tone as you add more children, as you add more responsibilities, as you add more whatever life. You can't make those decisions early on and then regret them.
Yes,
exactly.
And that's what I have decided, is that I'm not going to live my life with regret of I should have. So my plate is, I would say, just about empty. Like, I don't do anything extra. You ask me if I'm doing something, I'm going grocery shopping that day. You ask if I'm doing something, I'm washing dishes.
Yep.
Thank you. You know, that's just, it's not okay.
Yeah.
Balance.
Yeah, you have to have it. And and you can't wait for someone else to give it to you.
Right.
You have to be intentional, and you have to make a decision that this is what's important to me and my family in this season.
Yeah, and it's okay to have the times, you know, my husband and I have been talking about making more time for date nights and making more time for those types of things, and using, like you said earlier, the village. But it's also okay to set time aside. Like for me, I set aside once a month, hopefully, you know, sometimes we miss, with my girlfriends, because that's what I need in that moment. Sometimes I set some time aside and we'll go do something. And so I may call my dad and say, hey, we need to do something. But I think one of the other things is that people will look in and they'll see that you're doing things selectively and try to make you feel guilty for that. And that guilt right there is for the bird.
Yeah, it is. It's false. It's not
false.
real.
It's
not
not
real.
Say
bye-bye. Yeah.
So if you see me doing something with my husband or with my child or with my mom or with my dad, and I'm not doing it with you, maybe there's a reason, because you're not on my plate.
And not in this season, not right now.
Right.
There might be a time for that person to be on your plate, but it's not today. And if they're your real friend and they really love you, they'll understand that.
Right.
And if they can't understand that, either it's something going on with their plates, because they can't always have you either.
Right.
You know? Right. So then they need to reevaluate their own priorities, and you need to just let them do that. But that's not for you.
No.
Right.
No.
And I think reevaluating your priorities is key, because as we go through life and our circumstances and our seasons change, like we're empty nesters now. So I've been, you know, kind of on this journey of not reinventing yourself. Yes, Lord bless her. Just give her the endurance to hold on yet a little while longer. But not really reinventing myself, but a little bit of rediscovery. And just, I literally sometimes just sit down and I might be trolling the internet, you know, like, okay, let's see what's out there. And it's events, and I might tap, I'm interested in it, just so it'll pop back up again, you know, when it gets, I'm interested in probably 99 things a day, but I might actually go to one of them.
But I love some of your interests, because some of that ends up being our girlfriend time.
Exactly.
And we end up going out and doing stuff like painting.
And thank y'all for just, you know, doing stuff with me. And we're long overdue.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are long overdue. But there were years that I couldn't do that because that wasn't my season. And so now don't hate on me, because that's the season I'm in and you just might not be there yet. But I understand that. And so I'll sit down and I'm like, okay, what's something that I've been wanting to do, or something I used to do and I don't do it anymore? So when we, you know, go back to that self-care piece, what is it that would make me happy? What is it that would bring me joy? I might try something and decide I'm never going to do that again. But if I don't try, I'll never know.
Right. And then you'll have another kind of regret. I regret that I never tried that. And then I'm this age, or this has happened to me and now I can't do that. And then you have regret. So we don't want that. So don't live your life if I coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Yep.
just do it.
I try my best not to.
I just took a do the thing.
Take a nap, do the thing, go to the place, buy the ticket, see the movie, see the play, eat the hot dog.
Hey man, can I add something? So this,
absolutely.
I don't know if you guys.
Oh yeah,
we
were going to get to that.
So this is my self-care box. And everyone should have a self-care box. Now, it doesn't have to be this. This one's bought, but you can make it out of a tissue box, a shoe box, a hat box, a box like this. You can decorate it however you want to. I've had people decorate their self-care boxes with pearls and jewels. I've had people decorate their self-care box with candy, different candies. And so,
like a gingerbread house kind of.
They decorate with all kind of candy. And I was like, hey,
you can get them from Marshalls, TJ Maxx,
anywhere.
Ross, Hobby Lobby, Michaels.
You can get a tissue box as soon as you finish using it.
A shoe box.
Yep. Color it, do whatever you want to do with it. And the one that did the candy, I said, what made you decorate it with candy? And I remember she said, because when I think of my self-care, I want that to be my sweet spot.
Ooh, I like that.
I like that.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, let me write that down. Like I'm legitimately writing that down.
Self-care should be you getting to your sweet spot, a place for you to come and be rediscover what you like. Because when we're in certain seasons, as I mentioned before, we get so caught up. We're trying to make sure everything is okay. We forget what is our sweet spot. We forget what does bring us joy. In that scripture in Matthew 11:28-30, he says, this is where your soul finds rest. So I asked the question this way, where do you find rest for your soul?
Yes, that's good.
Where do you find it? And all of ours don't look alike.
Right.
So something that might be soul rest for one person might not be soul rest for someone else. And so for me, I need water. Water energizes me. So I go and I have little cards in here. You can decorate them. You can make them fancy or you can just tear them off. So I like to walk by the water. So I had to discover North Beach.
Yes.
You know, it's just like right down the road.
It is.
Right over there.
I didn't know that was true.
Yeah.
I saw that sign for years living in Upper Marlboro, and I just ignored it. I thought this is the way to the beach.
Yeah. Okay.
The beach was far, far away, like going to Ocean City, right? So I was like, what is this little sign? So my family came here from North Carolina one time, and I said, well, they say it's a beach over here, somewhere around here, so we're going to go. They wanted fish on Friday. Okay. And so I took them to there, and they had this wonderful marina there that has a full restaurant, Ride and Reel Marina. I'll never forget it.
Yeah.
And it's right on the water. It is beautiful. You can just look out the water.
Right in our own backyard.
In our own backyard. 20 minutes away. Full buffet. We ate until we were just stuffed. We really ate too much. But when I discovered that, I discovered the little North Beach area, and I was like, I can come down here anytime I want. I've been all of the seasons. I've been in the winter, I've been in the spring, the summer, and the fall. And I go, and even after the hurricane was passing by, we didn't get very much. But I wanted to see what it looked like. So I went down there for that. You need to go find what energizes you. So walking by the water energizes me. I have that in here a couple of times.
Okay.
Bubble baths with candles. This is another one. Walking in the park, listening to your favorite song.
Okay.
And there was one in here I had. Oh, that's the same one. I had about... Here it is. Take a weekend away with no agenda except for yourself.
Wow.
A weekend. I've done a day, a night, kind of thing. A weekend.
Away.
Okay.
With no
I'm
agenda.
going to graduate to the weekend.
Except for loving you. And the other thing I have in here is the invitation.
Okay.
You have to invite yourself sometimes. So you just, for me. Date, whatever date you want to put on there.
I
the
love
time,
that.
the place, RSVP to yourself.
I know, Janice. I know that's your favorite
RSVP
place.
to yourself.
Yes.
And you go invite yourself, pull that out and go do something good for yourself.
Yeah.
Now, I have rules about self-care in your self-care box.
Okay.
It has to be at least when you're starting out just for yourself.
Okay.
Because we don't take that time for us. We devalue ourselves and we add more value to everybody and everything else. And I'm not teaching narcissism. I'm not teaching you to be narcissistic and only think about yourself.
Right. It's not a selfish thing.
Right. So that's why I don't even use the word me time, because then when people hear that me time, they'll say, yeah, but I got it. Yeah. But when you say self-care, it's a responsibility. Jesus did it. He took care for himself.
Yes,
he took
did.
the time to get away. He told them meet him on the other side with the boat, right? So that he could just take some time and be away. We have to do that. If Jesus did it, we got to do it.
Absolutely.
Right? And so it has to be for at least 2 hours.
Wow. 2 hours.
It has to be for at least 2 hours. When you're really practicing a getaway self-care, it has to be for at least 2 hours. Because we can do the 15 minutes at our desk. We can do the 15 minutes in the house just to breathe and calm down. That's true. But when you're doing real self-care, and one time a week to take 2 hours away for yourself is incredible. I was once I see that bottle of water over there, and I was once, if you can imagine a bottle of water, and I was all the way depleted, all the way down here.
Been there.
And you can become an empty picture. You can become an empty vessel. And when you are that, nothing good is coming in. Even though it's right there and it's all around you can't receive it because you're so depleted. You're actually turned upside down. You done poured out. You poured. There's nothing left.
Nothing left.
So when you make a decision to be intentional about self-care, I like to look at it like the water bottle's just laying flat, and Jesus is just allowing you to be, he fills you back up when you take that time, and you can come back up to yourself. And then our goal is to try to stay up there. We pour out, come back to him. Pour out, go get your self-care.
Okay,
pour out, get self-care again. Yeah. So that then you stay up here. And it's harder for you to get upset and angry. You won't be so easily irritated if your love tank is full.
Right. That's true. Amen. Yeah. So, I want to segue into the mental health awareness, month, and not just focusing on it, for this month, because we tried to mention, or we did mention it at the top of the month. But I wanted to give our family some warning signs. Because sometimes, again, when we're in that rat race or on that hamster wheel, it just becomes a way of life. And we don't really think that anything is wrong. And, I've shared before about how I didn't think anything was wrong with me. I didn't know I was, suffering from extreme fatigue and medical, things, blah, 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 because I just kept going. I was just doing it tired, And
that's good, doing it tired. And we do that.
Yeah. That's a whole nother level. But anyway, how would someone know? Like, what are some things that I can look for within myself? Or what if I see certain things, patterns, behaviors in someone that I spend, a lot of time with?
So some of the things for depression or any of the other disorders, because there's some that are just familiar. There's 1,000 disorders or hundreds of disorders, so you don't want to try to diagnose someone,
Absolutely.
Right? And just because someone has a certain thing doesn't mean that they're diagnosed with a condition, because we have to look at a myriad of things before we make a diagnosis. However, there are some clear indicators, such as you don't find happiness and joy in things that you used to love to do.
Yeah.
You just don't find it. Okay, it's like, okay, I did it. Yeah, it was good. Had a good time.
You're just checking it off.
You just check it off. It's just something to do. Or you don't even, you're not even excited about doing it anymore. You find yourself sleeping a lot, just being overly fatigued. Now, there is a thing when we do need rest. We do need sometimes for our bodies to just get rest and to get replenished. An 8-hour day, 8 hours of sleep we do need. But when you find you've had your 8 hours, you've had it for 2 or 3 days, it's still not enough. And you find yourself just being around, just laying around. Well, what's wrong? Are you sick? No. You don't know. What do you want to do? Just don't feel like it. When you start finding those things, those are clear red flags that something is wrong, whether that's inside or you see it in a friend or a loved one. Some other things are just kind of being by yourself. You're like, you're used to being gregarious and fun and being the life of the party. And you just kind of find that person's kind of slipping away. And every time you call them, they have something else going on or they just don't feel like it. Now, it's true that you might have life stuff going on, but it's never a time that you can't ever take a break. You're not even taking a break to make a phone call.
Right.
You're just going away and slowly pulling back. Or you might hear them giving away things or selling things. It's something that's important to them. It's a beautiful vase, and they've always treasured that vase, and they're like, oh, you can have it.
Okay.
And you're like...
So there's a detachment from people and things. People places,
things.
and
yes,
things.
Anything that you have normally been doing that you don't enjoy doing anymore. There's so many. You can find people just being anxious. They get bent out of shape over the littlest thing. My seniors used to say, making a mountain out of a molehill, right? And so you find yourself just any little thing is ticking you off. Any little thing is sending you off. And you're like, what is wrong with me? Why am I getting so easily irritated by everything that people say or do? And you can hear it in your kids. Your kids are your number one barometer. When they start saying, my kids sometimes call me different names. They'll be like, oh, there goes Patricia, or there goes Yolanda. And I'm like, okay, what am I doing?
Right.
But if we get offended by it and we won't hear it, then we're not paying attention to the signs that are there.
Okay.
They're receiving something back. There's feedback that we're giving to them that's abnormal. Mm-hmm. And they're trying to bring to our attention, hey, something's wrong. Or your spouse or a significant other or a friend, a coworker might be saying, Kylie, you're getting a little touchy about things. You need to understand that and accept it.
Especially
from people
if it's
who love
repeated.
You. Yeah.
If you say it to me this week and then next week,
or someone else,
Monday,
or 3 people told you that,
right.
It's time to kind of listen. That something else is going on with you. Your eating patterns could be off. So it's a myriad of things, but those kinds of things that you see that you're not happy, you're just not joyful about something, you're just kind of, like you said, going through the motions. That's the time for you to take a time out. Just take yourself a time out. Go evaluate yourself. And you do it. You evaluate yourself. You take a minute. What is going on with me? What am I feeling? What are these emotions that I'm having? Label the emotions. We don't even like to accept that we have emotions. Emotions are not sin.
Right.
God gave them to us. If he
sure
didn't
did.
want us to have emotions, he would not have given them to us. The problem is when we operate in that emotion all the time, as if that's the only emotion we can have.
Right.
Yeah, you're angry all the time. You're yelling at people. You met the people who they're grouchy and mean and nasty. You're like, I just came in the door. And you're just mean and nasty for
the
no
100
reason.
where they just go
always
from 0 to 100. Right.
And so there's something wrong if you're doing that.
Because there were 99 other ones before the 100. Yeah.
So we need to recognize that, and we need to take the time to evaluate, why am I feeling this way? So now we label the emotion. Why am I feeling it? Sometimes if we're hungry, we're angry, we're lonely, and we're tired, these other things show up. We didn't take time to say, I didn't get sleep last night. You know, you have a new baby.
Yeah.
And the baby is up all night. You haven't had a good night's sleep in weeks, right? And so you're a little touchy-feely, you're a little irritated, easily irritated. You need to say, hey, can you watch my baby? I trust you, you're my friend. Okay, I'm gonna just watch you. You can watch my baby in my house.
Right.
But just give me a minute to let me have 3 to 4 hours of sleep. Ask for help. That's what you need to do.
I think that
go ahead. No, go ahead.
That help thing is so, it's come up, I think, in almost every conversation that we've had in the Motherhood Month. That help thing is so hard because you don't want to feel like you're disappointing your family. You don't want to feel like, you know, you're weak or you're inadequate. And so
word.
It is just hard to get to accept the help, but it's also sometimes hard to find people to help.
That's true. That's true.
That's real.
So I think that one of the things that we can challenge, you know, people who struggle in that area is, if you have extra time and you find that you have that relationship. Now, I'm not talking about somebody that you just met.
Yes.
Offering to watch
Definitely
their
not.
baby. But if you feel like you have that relationship and you want to offer that and you can see it, you know, hey, would you mind if I, you know, and like you said, I can be in your house. Because 9 times out of 10, you have some space that I can be in that you don't have to be in.
True.
Even a 1-bedroom apartment.
Yeah.
Because you got to get in. And you got to have somewhere to sleep that has walls and a door. Now, if you have a studio,
you got to have a bathroom.
Right. You have a studio, that might be a different situation. But I think that help piece is just so tough for people to overcome.
Yeah, I thank God for having my village when Maya was younger, because there were plenty of times that Daryl just wasn't available, whether it was when he was working in corrections or the phone company, and Lord knows once he went into full-time ministry, it was really slim to none. You know, he did a lot, but there was not a lot of time for him to do a lot, you know? And so I thank God for those relationships that I was able to build with women that I could trust.
Yes.
Because that's key. You know, I'm grateful for the times that my mom, you know, was there to lighten the load a little bit, you know, but really a lot of those times came from the girlfriend, you know, network. And that was so crucial. And we would do it, you know, for one another.
That's what I was going to say.
Okay,
That's
so
important to know. Hear this.
like,
That's important to know.
Tuesday from 10 to 1, is Rose's day. Okay, so who else needs a day? Okay, such and such needs, okay, you can do it Thursday. Okay, yep, I can take yours on Thursday. And that's what we did because
I did the same thing.
We were home and we knew what that stress was like. People think, being in the home full time is an easy thing, and it's not. Even with one kid, I still had my moments where one of us was going to be outside on the clothesline. I was either going to hang myself up out there to dry for a few minutes, or she was definitely going to be out there, put her on the balcony when we were in the apartment, pull the door shut. I'll see you in a minute because I don't want to look at you right now, or put myself in a timeout, so I understand how those stressors can come and they just build and build and build and build and build to the point where you just don't know what to do. You're at your wit's end.
And you know what, that Rose, on that and what you said, Maya, is it's hard to ask for help. But for the people out here, what you went through with your own child, your own children. One of my children was a colicky baby. We found out later that she had a kidney disease or issue. But we didn't know at first. The girl screamed that blood toe curling scream. And we'd be like, I'd just be like this. One day, Darl said he came home and I was just rocking the baby in the chair going, take her away. And he was like, okay, just give me the baby. But I can still remember, it still makes me cringe. I can remember what that felt like. So if I know what that feels like, and I see a lady at church or wherever in the marketplace even, and you can see that she is having a hard time and this baby won't stop crying, you don't have to go take someone's baby. No, you can't do that. You got to gain permission, but you kind of just go and sit and say, how can I help? Offer
and not judge.
To help. Just offer to help. You've been there. You're right. Don't judge them because you yourself have been there. Yours might not have been a crying baby. Yours might have been something else with a child. But offer to be able to be there. Let's practice one anothering, caring for one another, being there for one another, supporting one another.
And I think that the judgment piece, when you talk about mental health, adds on a whole nother layer because your life is so exposed now to the degree that what you want it to be, which is another thing. Sometimes you have to pull back what you share. And sometimes it's helpful and sometimes it's great to get it off your chest, and sometimes you find out that other people in the same situation. But then if you start to notice that people aren't giving you the feedback and it's doing more harm than good, you have to pull that back.
Yeah, you can.
You have to.
And the judgment piece is on that. One of the things I was going to talk about is the fact that, there's a stigma to having a mental health issue. But the real truth is that all of us have something. All of us go through something in our lives. We're wearing these little green wristbands, and they say mental health is health. Because it is true. Mental health is the same health that we need when we get our physicals done every year, when we get our dental work done every year. We should give ourselves a mental health checkup. There's things that you can go to online and just look up a mental health checkup so you'll know for yourself. A little girl came with her mom and dad to a counseling session with me, and her mom has given me permission to share this. And she said one day, she came a couple of sessions with them, and one day when she was leaving, little thing, and she said, Mommy, I know what Miss Yvette does. And so we were all like, well, what does Miss Yvette do? And she said it with boldness. And she said, Miss Yvette helps people when they get a little off track. She helps them to get back on track.
I was like, you have it.
And out of the mouths of babes. So from that day, that's what I tell people I do in counseling. My job is to just help someone when you get a little off track, find ways to get you back on track. And that is true. Her mom has made me a big, beautiful poster that's in my office now. And I refer to it every time I have a new client. That's all I'm here for. I'm not God. I don't have every answer. I can't give you everything to do, but I can help you learn strategies and principles that you can put in your life to help you get back on track. And that's the truth for all of us. We just need a little help. So we have to get rid of the stigma. How do you get rid of stigma? Stop calling people crazy.
Yes.
Let's start there.
Amen.
Let's start with being sensitive about how we speak regarding people with mental illness. That there's 1 in 5 people that suffer from mental illness.
I would honestly think it's more.
1 in 5.
Wow.
Yeah. So I do this thing sometimes when I'm in a bigger audience, and I'll put the number 5s, count seats and put the number 5. And I'll say, just look under your seat and see if you have anything under there. When they pull it out, it's a big green 5 because green represents mental health. And they'll hold up this big green 5. And then I tell them what it means. You're 1 in 5. And when you see the whole room and you start to recognize, whoa.
Yeah, it puts it in perspective. Sometimes we need that visual because you hear stuff.
And now a lot of people have taken that and still made fun of it. I'm number 5. I'm number 5. I'm like, okay, but we're not going to make fun of it. We're doing it for a reason. That there is a reason. It's 1 in 5 people. So somebody on your road, somebody at your job, somebody in your family,
right,
is suffering from a mental health issue. Mental health issues can be as simple as anxiety and depression. And how many of us have never gotten depressed?
Right.
Truth is, we all get depressed sometimes. Truth is,
absolutely.
We all have anxiety about something. Sometimes we get stressed. We have new job stuff that comes up, and we may be up for a promotion, and they're asking us 12 questions, and we're like, oh, okay. We get stressed. That's normal. So we also have to normalize, just because a person got stressed over something doesn't mean that they're suffering from a disorder.
Right.
They also could just be
on
responding.
medication for the rest of their life, or you got to ask them every day, did you take the pill?
Yeah. But the people who do need to take it, we need to normalize that too.
Right.
Like I said, I have diabetes. I have to take my medication every day. There are people, when your brain chemistry is skewed, the medication is just there to help balance it and to bring you to a place of balance. Sometimes you don't have to be on a psychotropic drug for the rest of your life. Sometimes you only have to be on it for a period of time, but you don't take yourself off of it. If the doctor has prescribed it, you work with your doctor to lessen the dosage, because when you just abruptly stop because you feel better.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. People will just abruptly stop because they feel better and they didn't want to be on the medication anyway. And so when they do that, then that makes it harder the next time when they get on it.
Yeah.
They'll need a higher dosage, or it'll take a longer duration for them to be able to get off of it.
Yeah.
And I think, what I've seen over the years is that the believers, the Christians, the people of faith, yes, we need the word of God. We stand on it. We have to pray. We have to turn things over to him. We know that he is the chief physician. However, after we speak that healing, get some help.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I say pray and practice.
Yes.
You need to pray. You need to ask God, because you even need to pray about where you go. You need to pray about the people you're going to share it with.
Definitely.
You need to pray about what kind of treatment plan they're going to put you on. You need to pray about that. And you need to practice. You need to practice the exercises. You need to do what they're telling you to do. You need to take your medicine every day. You need to get rest and self-care, because if you're on medication, but you're still running, and you're still doing everything, your medication is just masking the problem.
Right.
It's not fixing the problem, when you really need to just learn how to slow down.
Right. Yeah, it's that comprehensive care, that holistic approach to hold you from head to toe, and everything in between.
Mind, soul, and body.
You have a couple shout outs. Janice Carol Walker said, Miss Yvette, I love you. You are speaking to me today.
Hi,
Tawana
Janice.
Allen says, hey, Aunt Yvette Haley.
Hey, Tawana.
Uh-oh, who is this baby girl? Darian says.
Yes.
I hope I pronounced her name right.
Darian,
Go, mommy, you're dropping facts. Great info. I know that's right. You better support your mama. But it's the truth, and that's why I wanted you to come. I have always admired you, and anytime that I have heard you, sharing, and I know if I need to refer somebody, you're a safe place.
Yes.
You're not going to steer them wrong. But I also know that you're not going to wave a magic wand and they're just going to be fixed, bippity boppity bam. It doesn't work that way. Nope. But like you said, it's helping them get back on track. That's all that it is.
My good friend Nicole McNeil always says, he who does the work gains the strength. And so that's the truth. If you do the work, I know that there's sometimes that people said they've gone to therapists and they're like, that stuff doesn't work. But the truth is, did you apply the principles? Yeah. Did you do what they asked you to do? Did you do the homework?
Right.
Did you sit with yourself? I'm just saying now, take a moment about something that you're stressed out for a moment about. Take the moment to pause.
Oh, Jesus. Yes, Lord.
Just breathe.
Breathing is very important.
We could practice that. There's just deep breathing. You can do it right now. Just put your hand on your stomach and take a deep breath in. Now listen, when you take a deep breath in, you're not doing this.
Right.
Because that makes you hyperventilate.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
You're taking a deep breath in from your diaphragm. If you push your stomach in just a little bit, when you take the deep breath, your hand should go out. And you hold it and hold it and hold it. And when you let that breath out, you should feel your tummy come back in.
And it feels good.
Yeah.
Maya actually has already started teaching Rookie, about breathing when he's, all worked and he's just getting ready to be 3 next week, as a matter of fact, on Wednesday.
Can you believe it? 3 years already? You can.
But you'll see him, he's having a moment. Now, in the beginning, I think he was just doing a lot of breathing. I was like, okay, so wait a minute, are you just, am I stressing you out? Like, what in the world? But he got it.
Yeah.
And he would feel himself, get into that place. And he's taking his little breaths, and she had to tell me about it. It's like, I'm teaching him about taking a breath, because when we are just at that place, we just need to take a breath.
Down.
Yeah, just center yourself.
Yeah. Right. Ground yourself. Let yourself calm down. You can practice your deep breathing anywhere.
Yep.
No one can take that away from you. You can also do progressive relaxation exercises where you tense up different body parts for like a minute or two. You just hold, like you start from your head and you tense up your neck and you hold it and breathe and you hold it and breathe and then you release it slowly. And you feel the tension go out. Because when we're stressed and have anxiety and just upset, we feel it in here.
Yes.
Right? Now I go to chiropractic. That is a part of my self-care. I go to chiropractic regularly. I've gone down from 2 times a week to 1 time a week, and now once a month.
I haven't tried that yet. I watched Daryl when he was going for a season, and I decided, that might not be for me, but I do like yoga, and that's one of the things I want to pick up. I put it down, and I said I want to pick it back up. But a masseuse taught me how to breathe because I'm very ticklish, and so I would go in to be relaxed and get in this Zen place and just enjoy my, self-care. And it wasn't effective, and they would be mad. Like I've had several say, "Okay, well, how do you feel? Like, do you really feel any better than when you walked in here? Because you're really tense." But I was trying not to laugh. I was so focused on not laughing that I was so tense. So one of them, thankfully, she stopped and she said, "Okay, I need to teach you something. You need to learn how to breathe." And that's why I'm so ticklish. I'm so stressed that, I'm stressed because I'm trying to focus on not laughing. And she said, "Okay, this is what I want you to do." And she taught me how to breathe and how that exhaling, it releases toxins
from your body. Yes,
and I could actually feel a difference. So now when I'm getting the massages and I've had, some say, "Oh, that's really good. Most people don't know to do," like they know I'm doing it. They can feel it, and I feel much better now. I get the benefit of because before I was just wasting money, for that hour or whatever.
Yeah. But that's good. Breathing helps, just learning how to reground yourself, becoming present. Just become present. Sometimes in a room it's just breathing, listening to what's going on around you.
Yeah.
Just focusing on what's happening will help you to calm yourself down. And on that massage thing, if you don't have money to go to the masseuse, get a good rolling pin. Yeah. And let your husband, you can even do it yourself on your legs. You can't do it really on your own back. It's kind of hard. But get you a good sturdy rolling pin and let your husband or your friend or even a family member just rub it down your legs and your back and your arms. You'll feel so much better. But you got to practice breathing even when you're doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. Any closing thoughts that you would like to leave our family with tonight?
Well, a couple of things. Okay. One, if you know that someone is going through something, you see something, say something. Ask them some questions. Just don't leave someone out there. You wouldn't want to be left on the side of the road. So if you see something, just ask, how can I help?
Absolutely.
And then assess the situation. Don't put yourself going into run into a situation. Oh, that person over there looks like they're having an anxiety attack. I'm going to go help. We don't know what that person may be having. Right. So assess what's happening first and then make a decision if you're going to go into it. Be friendly because no one wants you to come to, "Are you just tripping today? There you go again, acting up. There you go again, pretending like you're stressed out." They're not pretending. Right. Be friendly. You have to have an approachable demeanor and encourage the person to get help. No matter what is happening, just encourage them to go get help because help is available to them. Every counselor might not be the counselor for them. They may have to search a little bit more to find somebody. And then, refer other people. Like we're just talking about a chiropractor. You might talk about a therapist that you liked or a place that you can go to for groups. Refer them to go get help. Refer them to research it for themselves. And then I'll give Rose a couple of hotline numbers for you all to have. So if you ever look at it online or whatever,
we can post
those. Yeah. So the domestic violence hotline, the suicide prevention hotline. Don't be afraid to ask someone, are they thinking of suicide, when they're talking very negatively to you, because the worst thing you could do is just, they're giving away things. Oh, sure, take it. And then they go home and something happens to them. Yeah. So.
Wow. Do you have anything, producer?
I have my notes. My notes are the last notes.
Okay.
So you go ahead.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm real good. I'm so grateful that you said yes. We continue to try to bring, quality guests in and have necessary, sometimes hard conversations. So I'm good. I have nothing else.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Absolutely. So I think, it's important to close out Motherhood Month with a challenge. And so we want to challenge people to pause. You don't have to be a mother to pause. You don't have to be a father to pause. You can just be an individual who everybody has something that they have to do. I mean, even if all you do is eat all day, you can pause from that.
That's right.
But just take the time to pause and take the time to center yourself, reground yourself, find those things that work. Earlier in the self-care discussion, we were talking about taking the time to explore different things. So just take that permission, give yourself the permission. If you need somebody else to remind you, hey, you haven't taken your self-care this month. Just challenge the people around you.
Or ask half day.
Right.
I heard you talk about it.
Get a buddy to do it. Hey, let's be self-care buddies. Let's see what you did this month, and I'll check you.
I like that.
Everything isn't for everybody. So try something that somebody else has suggested, or, like you said, coordinate with your friends to say, okay, well, you take the baby, for me, and I'll take your babies, and we can work this thing out.
Well, we just going to take each other, grab a bestie or grab a group of girlfriends.
Leave the kids with the men or
that's
something,
right. That's
whatever.
Right. It is okay.
It's okay.
I just took a tap dance class a couple weeks ago, and my good girlfriend, sent me that text that day for a class that night. And it was like, I know y'all are leaving for vacation tomorrow, but it's a class tonight at 7:00. Like, we know we've been talking about that. That was a part of my, one of those things that I wanted to rediscover from my youth. And I've never left the love of tap alone. It's always been there. And so I took a tap class, and I can't wait for the sessions to start. It was like an open house kind of thing.
That's
and
excellent.
It was so much fun. So thank you, sister. Yay. I think she's watching. Thank you, Gail.
I want to do a hand dance class. So if anyone knows where one of those are, please let me know.
So
just pause.
Yeah. My shirt, I told Yvette, my shirt says Hush. And yes, it's from Hush Boutique, but tonight it represents us hushing things in our lives that have just gotten a little bit too loud. Sometimes life is just too loud, and you need to just say, hush. The word says, peace, be still.
Yeah.
Hush.
Yeah.
So give yourselves permission
to pause. And if I have started doing this, but if you know someone that needs to take that break, if you know someone that would benefit from the live, please share the replay when it's available, and encourage someone. You don't have to explicitly tell them. Maybe you just share it on your timeline, or maybe they need an explicit, I've noticed that you don't pause enough.
Yep.
Or I've noticed that, there are some things that I think you could get from this video. So feel free to share the replay. If you haven't already liked Elev8 Radio, please like the page, share the page, encourage people to join in the conversation. We are going to continue to have some awesome conversations.
Yeah, shoot us ideas, suggestions. Janice, I'm so glad that you realized that, and that you have given yourself permission to pause. That's awesome.
So everyone has permission. If you haven't given yourself the permission, we're giving you the permission.
Right now, we are giving it to you. Pause. Push pause.
Because you don't want to pause, and then you don't pause, and then you run out of tape.
Yes. So, hey, that's a good one.
Whatever. So we will.
Go ahead, Maya.
I like it.
I'm pausing. Okay, yay. I pause on a regular. So so if you have some suggestions for us, you can email us at inthedivadin@gmail.com, and you can follow us on the Diva Den Live on Instagram, and you can stay connected with us on the Elev8 Radio Facebook page.
Thank you, Elev8 Radio. Thank you, Wes Alexander, my awesome son. Thank you to Daryl Godlock of Locked in God Ministries, who sponsors the Diva Den show. And thank you to all of you. Thank you for coming in and joining in the conversation. Let's keep the conversation flowing. I'm excited for the month of June. May, we talked about all things relating to mothering. Well, guess what? We're talking about fatherhood in the month of June, and we have some great stuff lined up.
Yay!
Awesome. All right.
Well, thank you. And I think that's it.
That's it. Don't forget to pause.
Bye-bye. Have a great weekend.